Meanwhile, I want to bring in IWF Senior Policy Analyst Patrice Leonwuka. So they're coming at these guys from all sides. Everyone's got their own individual complaints. Some of it I think is legitimate. Some of it, though, I just think is a sort of government money grab. This is where all the money's been generated. And I think all of these governments around the world, including local and states, are saying, hey, we want a piece of the action.
Well, Charles, I kind of agree with you there. $5 billion is what Facebook paid to the FTC recently. That's not a small pot of money when you're in New York City looking to, fund some of the socialist policies that they have there. But the question is really whether being a big company is a bad thing. And I think that's a very fundamental question. It starts with an assumption that because Facebook, Google, Amazon are big companies, they have done something nefarious to get big. I think that's concerning, because unless there is evidence to prove, price gouging or some of the other traditional antitrust behaviors we've seen in the past, it may be a hard case to make for the state attorneys general.
I think what they're arguing is that, hey, this is a different sort of antitrust. This is antitrust with competition. In other words, because their prices are so low, because they've got billions of dollars, anytime an upstart shows potential, they dangle a bunch of money at them or they try to crush them. So it's not, I don't know, listen, I know in the past that there have been attempts to go at antitrust in this manner. It's not textbook, but is there some legitimacy to it?
Well, I caution, so, I can see the point, but still, I think, in other different industries, buying a smaller competitor because they offer a new service that would convenience your customers is something that's celebrated. And let's not forget the value that's generated for users, particularly around that user experience. Very often when you look at Facebook purchasing Instagram, for example, I know that it's so much easier for me to be able to post to two different sites at one time because of that kind of seamless integration. Now there's a price that I paid for it, which is, my personal data. And I think, that's where that privacy issue comes in. How much are we willing to give up when we talk about free services? Well, really, they're not free. We're paying for it with our personal data. Does that mean that that's a bad thing? I think that's another huge question to tackle.
So handicap this for us. Where do you think ultimately we go from here? Will there be, efforts to break these companies up, or will they just continue to write a bunch of checks, business as usual, and this will be part of doing business?
I think it's the latter. I understand that the FTC said that their $5 billion penalty was meant to both penalize but also to change the privacy culture at Facebook. But I don't think that's going to really change. You'll have some headlines, you may have some window dressing, but the fundamental business processes, which is really about the user experience and keeping customers satisfied, is not going to change. And so they'll find new ways of doing that. The federal government, the states, they'll probably get some money out of it. They may get some good FaceTime, but I don't think we're going to really see any major fundamental changes to big tech, and that may not necessarily be a bad thing.
Patrice, thank you very much. Always appreciate it.
Good to be on. Thanks, Charles.